I'm also gonna need a tiny little bit of black. Yeah, I changed the setup a little bit, Brisek. Just for you. I need a bit of a sharper brush. You appreciate it? No worries, dude. I'm gonna mix just a tiny little bit of the red with the black. Just as part of the base coat again. Try to see if I can fix any of my little slip-ups. Although it's a little bit of a tedious spot to be painting here. Need to try and get the outline of the cross back. This is so freaking tiny, dude. Okay. Yeah, this will be uploaded to the More Lowko channel. The full painting, that is. Do I know of the orc war bus? Yeah. So I actually did get a box of orcs. I have never painted an army before, and I'm not really intending on painting all of the boys. There is this guy included in the box. Absolute banger of a miniature, dude. I really like the look of it, but this is a spearhead box. So this is an orc. It is an Age of Sigmar orc. It's not quite a Warhammer 40k orc. I like the models quite a bit better than I like the, well, I mean, the regular 40k orcs are cool too, to be fair, but I like these orcs quite a bit. So I'm gonna give them a shot. The Age of Sigmar orcs don't have any, they don't have any guns. They just have like swords and axes and stuff. Which I think looks nice. Although I think there's also conversions out there if you want to play like the 40k orcs, or the Age of Sigmar orcs rather, but you want to play them in 40k. I think you can. I always like orcs. The thing I don't really love about orcs so much though is like the super bright Shrek colored skins. I like the more yellowish orc colors a bit more. So that's what I'm going to try and do with the next mini. Even though Shrek is one of my favorite childhood movies, he's very green. Have I seen the Wild Boys, the red orcs? No. This is a color scheme that people paint? Red-skinned orcs? In Warhammer? Oh, interesting. No, I've not seen those before. That sounds fun. I know there's a lot of, like, obviously there's no real rules for this sort of thing, right? Like, one day somebody decided a long time ago that orcs are apparently mostly green. But I mean, I guess you have red, like, demonic orcs as well in Warcraft, right? They exist. You can do whatever color. I'm gonna keep them, I'm gonna give them a green skin color, but like a yellowish green, and then also like a yellow armor. Yellow, black, that type of armor. I think it's gonna look sick. Basically similar to the box art, although I don't have all of those paints, but it'll look real nice when it's done. China will grow larger. Okay. I gotta add a little bit of a wash over it, because now it's looking a little bit messy. So I'm gonna do like a brownish wash. So I'm thinking about like mixing a couple of contrast paints, or maybe mixing some brown into a contrast paint. I think that's probably the best thing to do. So we'll get some of the same color that I used to shade the metallics, the siliconum gray. Gotta shake it. And I'm gonna mix in, I think, a little bit of like a dark brown. So I'll mix in like a little bit of a, I think that's good. Yeah. These paints tend to separate quite quickly. Let me see. So I'm gonna just apply this all over. I'm gonna make a little puddle on my palette. Puddle on my palette. Puddle on my palette. Almost a tongue twister. I'll mix in a tiny little bit of water too. Just to try and see if this is going to be the correct shade. Because I want it to look pretty stony in the end. I think if we just make it like full gray, it's going to look a little bit, I mean, it can look like concrete, I guess, but so this will automatically run into all of the recessed areas, which is exactly what we're going for. And then we'll highlight and relayer some of it again. Soaking up any of the excess with a clean brush. AKA the same brush that I rinsed in water and then licked clean. You always struggle painting the sides of the crux terminus. This dude does it with ease. I mean, it's not 100% tidy, to be fair. I don't mind a little bit of overspill here with the wash because I think it's gonna create like a nice little frame all around. I mean, for a first couple coats there, that works. So I'm just trying to push it in the different directions here initially, and then we'll tidy up around the outside a bit. This is also very easy to clean up though here, because this is just a full black shoulder pad. Like there's no color variety here. So if I mess it up, I can just go back in and tidy up with black. But then again, since it's black and we're covering this with a very thin wash, it is not likely that it's really going to be noticeable, even if there is a little bit of brown overspill. Because thin paint is not really very good at covering black. Because black is such a strong color here. I haven't actually seen the new releases all yet. I saw some social media posts and stuff. Is there like a blog post or something with all of the announced miniatures? There probably is, I just haven't seen it. I think they usually post it on like the community page or something, right? For some reason I've missed it. I want to do the little islands. Let me see. Wargamer, that's a good website for it. I've not seen this website before. Warhammer 40k gets new, much better models for Space Wolves. These are nice. Do we have a zoomed in version of them? Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's a cool mini. Do they come with little doggos as well? They do! How old are you? 55 plus. All right. Glad we got that out of the way. I want to add a little bit of a bluish glow to... I'm going to do the same thing as I did on the Demon Lady that we painted a couple weeks ago. I'm going to add a little bit of Talarstar blue straight on top of the eye lenses over there. So what I did is in the top left on those little lens thingies, I painted those with the very, very bright colors. The brightest silver color that I have. And this is a very transparent paint. And I noticed it was kind of nice. It looked pretty good. I was going to say, where did my brush go? But I put it at the computer desk. You really like the Thousand Sun mechs? I saw one of them with a guy like strapped into it and he had like bullets for nipples. You mean the guy with the bullets for nipples? That thing looked pretty cool. Although highly impractical. Yeah, this is pretty shiny pretty fast. I will have to go back in and fix a couple of problems. Dude, this small one is... Here's my thumb for comparison. That little bottom visor is so freaking tiny. All right. Let me also get a little bit of the mithril out. Maybe I just have a huge thumb. I do have a huge thumb, Matt. And you know what they say about men with huge thumbs, right? Huge gloves. They say they're Dutch? Wait. I mean, I am, but... That thumb is at least 14 centimeters long. Do I have a big thumb, Chet? I don't know. I think I have a regular... I don't know. Dang it. Okay. On today's stream, chat makes Lowko develop a thumb complex. Dude, this is 100% true. When you first start streaming, any insecurities that you may have about like your personal appearance, they will be dissected, analyzed, put out into the world without you asking for it. One of the dreams and joys of being a content creator on the internet. Although ever since I started miniature painting, I have had an awful lot of compliments on my hands. Interestingly enough, I never thought about my hands. But people have been nice towards my hands, dude, and I'll take it. Subscribe to my OnlyHands. Trying to add a little tiny dot highlight, but yeah. To cover up my mistakes. I like covering up my mistakes. Welcome to the court. I mean Twitch chat. No, I'm using a bit of an older brush here for the metallics. I tried to not use my very good brushes on metallics, so this is a brush that I've been using since I started. I have successfully somehow, some way rubbed off the paint on the handle. I don't know how I did that, but this is a 00 from Rosemary & Co. And this is still a brush that like holds a tip, but it isn't my sharpest brush, if that makes sense. And like, since the metallic paints have actual metallic flakes in them, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to ruin it by using my nice brushes. I think I'm going to keep the rest of the highlighting on the weapons and the hands and stuff relatively basic on the metallic parts. Just gonna follow the edges. They look nice and grimy right now, which is good. Trying to add a little bit of an edge highlight around the thumb. Definitely staying out of the recesses here. I'm going to use the edge of the brush wherever possible. Hey, look, I might have to quit my job. Can I live in the basement with Rushy? First of all, how do you know Rushy lives in my basement? Second of all, how do you know that I have a basement? Because I don't. Our fist's looking pretty clean this way. Yeah. I did some reconnaissance, Lowko. I won't move in anywhere. Jeez. Ah, okay. Sorry, man. I didn't want to make any assumptions. Pretty happy with that. Is this too bright, you think? Thinking about maybe dulling it down a bit. So like the grill in the back, the exhaust shouldn't be that bright. Yeah, I'm gonna dull it down a little bit. I'm gonna just dilute Basilicatum Gray again. Just a very dilute version of it. I would just run that, especially in between the parts. It's a little too shiny. I have an overview on my website. If you're interested, if you go to lowko.tv, I have a miniature page linked at the top of the screen with pretty much all the minis that I've painted, and to like playlists whatever available. Like playlists of YouTube videos of me painting them. So if you go to www.lowko.tv, I think it's lowko.tv/minis, if I set it up correctly. Pretty sure that's accurate. Can anybody check? Lowko.tv/minis, does it work? I think it does. Whoa, we have music with voices?
And I'm not pumping the brakes, and I'm not pumping the brakes. I'm too competitive, I like the narrative, that I don't know best in the league. Who you comparing with, that isn't fed them, top of the throne, it is me.
Too much? We never listened to this.
I just been bringing the fire. Bringing the fire.
Damn.
I just been bringing the.
I never listened to this sort of thing. No, I don't paint armies, I just paint individual miniatures, which is apparently a little weird. Although I'm considering painting an army of orcs. That sounds like something from Rainer's tournament playlist. It really does. Dude, that is such a niche and very specific joke, NMR. I love that. But it really does sound like something from Rainer's tournament playlist. Yes. Well memed, good sir. After Rainer won the World Championship in like 2021 or whatever, he was constantly like jamming out on camera to the different musics that he was listening to. And he said, if I win the tournament, I will publish my playlist. And it was a lot of that type of music, but then in Italian. Now my Italian isn't very good, but to be fair, I'm pretty sure the previous song was in English. And I couldn't really catch the majority of that either, so, you know, take that for what it's worth. Yeah, I'll have to take a couple more of the highlight colors out for the red. I spilled over in some areas. We have Dutch gangster rap too though, dude. It exists, chat. Dude, I am listening to what is called epic music. What is this? This is not epic, dude. There's German rap. Yeah. In Germany, they go crazy, dude. Rather than flexing about money and cars and women and all that. Yeah, they're like, I didn't recycle my paper today.
Oh, the misery, everybody wants to be my enemy, spare the sympathy, everybody wants to be my enemy.
Whoa, Kazidun, are you okay, buddy? Thank you for the resubscription. I put the metal in the wrong bin. When I drink orange juice straight from the carton, I sometimes put it in the paper bin. That's, I think, German gangster music. Gangster rap, that is. That song is called hashtag Fuck die System. System spelled with a K, by the way, somehow. I'm trying to do very basic highlighting onto the weapon. Weapon's not really the main attraction here. Trying to keep it simple. Simple, but interesting. Which was also my nickname in college. You know what? I wear it with pride. Is this gonna be on the test, Lowko? Absolutely, yeah. All of these questions will be on the test. I may have to relayer some of these parts a little bit just to tidy it up. Yeah, I will. I use the gunmetal for the center part. Trying to get slightly sharper lines here. I just realized I actually haven't yet put a shade onto the, that's something we need to go ahead and do as well. I haven't yet put a shade onto the brass details, the brass details. I think I'll use like a flesh wash or something, which will probably do okay. I just need like something a little bit warm-ish. Yeah, we'll use like a little bit of like a flesh shade. What's going on, Facilia? How are you? Welcome back. Hope all is well. Same for the gun casing over here, or the bullets that are visible. And then also for the skull over here on the chest. This is the perfect stream to have on while you're playing Portal 2. Oof, I love Portal 2. Banger game. You're playing Heroes of Might and Magic 6? Ooh. Dang, you guys playing bangers today. Using a little bit more of the silver here to highlight the top of the gun. I believe that the orc that we're going to be painting next, I've done a lot of edge highlighting on this thing. I believe there's not going to be a whole lot of that on the orc. There's so much edging on this thing, dude. I've been edging for hours, Chet. But we're almost done. You're playing Kitchen Cleaner? Kitchen Cleaner 2025. It's important, dude. Having a tidy kitchen is OP. Just takes a long time. That's clumsy, Lowko. Okay. You don't get a lot of achievement points for cleaning your kitchen? That's okay. You get mental health gains. Those are worth something as well, to be fair. One of the most powerful digital currency. Yo, thank you very much, Dynamite. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Getting there. Getting there. Can I do a little tiny bit of non-oil onto some of the tiny details here? I think I'm going to use it over here, for example. Mostly just trying to frame the little lenses a little bit more. I think it'll be okay. I'm also going to try and emphasize the recesses here onto the metallics a little bit. So just in the shadows. Try and create a bigger separation between the light and the shadow, which I think will look nice. Pretty quick little job, but Don't like how this turned out. Don't like how this looks. More music from the Rainer playlist, or at least that's what it sounds like. Do I know what non-oil is? What do you mean, like what it is? It's like a black paint with some sort of medium added into it. What? Oh, the Nuln? I'm not sure what the Nuln is, no. In the Warhammer world? No idea. Is it something terrible? It is always something bad, isn't it? That's the Warhammer world that we know and love. It's a city-state in the Empire of Man in the old fantasy setting? Oh. That's surprisingly nice. So the city is called Null? It's a dirty, rat-infested city? I see. I originally thought I was gonna find the names of a lot of the Warhammer paints a bit cringe. But you get used to it and it's kind of nice when you... talk about some of them, you know? The fantasy naming scheme, I don't know. If I were to design a paint range, I don't know about that, but it's not so bad. Okay, let me try and zoom in a little bit on the gunmetal parts. Yeah, we can do a little bit more tidying up. Why is my paint so freaking watery, man? I'll grab a little bit of the base coat too. I'll try and sharpen the line in the opposite direction. Okay. What paints do I use? For anything in particular, or? A lot of different paints, dude. We've used quite a few different colors onto this mini. This brand is, or this paint is from a brand called Citadel, but I have some of the Army painter here too. We've used a couple different brands. This silver color, for example, is from the Army painter. Although I've heard great things about other brands that do metallic paints. A lot of people are saying that maybe, I think it's the Skill 75 ones? I'm not exactly sure. But I believe those are like considered to be best in the game right now when it comes to metallic paints. Let me see. You bought some color shifting paints. Oh, and then you realize they only work with an airbrush? Oh no! Yeah, if you don't have an airbrush, it's gonna be difficult to apply it via an airbrush. I don't even understand how how color shifting paints work though. I have no clue. Do you have any control over them or not? I think most paint brushes can also be used, but maybe not so much specifically on that one, I don't know. But a lot of paints that say like they're meant for airbrush can also be applied by regular brush. I mean, ultimately it's just a color application, right? It's not a magical device or whatever. But I don't really know how those paints work, so maybe for those they are specifically meant for airbrushing. Worth giving a shot though, just using a regular brush. Takes like 2 seconds to apply. Oh yeah, if they're non-water based, maybe it's a little different. Does this little thingy over here in the back need to be shaded down? No. Apparently this is just supposed to be a very dark color over here. It's like a little gem. We'll make it nice and dark. Okay. Well, you can brush oil paints, you can brush enamel paints too, so it doesn't, I guess, have to always be oil, but there might be some specific things that may make it a little tricky to be applied with a regular brush. Well, you know what? Maybe because you've accidentally spent $5 on paint that you can't use without an airbrush, maybe this is the perfect opportunity to justify spending $200 to buy an airbrush. How about that? Now, I'm no airbrush expert, but it is fun. Very handy. But it does have a little bit of an opportunity start cost type of thing. Sometimes see people on the internet recommending like $50 airbrush sets. I have no experience with those specifically, but there's definitely some decent budget options out there. I'm not familiar with that one, Anamar. You got yourself a second-hand set, 100 euro for an Ultra, and an AS196 compressor. Right. I do recommend, I have no experience with airbrushes other than the one that I have, but I do think the Harder and Steinbeck ones are nice. It seems to be what a lot of people recommend for a first-time airbrush. And what I like about it is that I can very easily disassemble it and put it back together, which is really nice, because I have made mess-ups. And it's nice to be able to clean it without using any like third-party tools or any sort of wrench or whatever. I can just take it apart with my hands and then clean it and then put it back together. It's a fun little puzzle. I have a Harder and Steinbeck Evolution is what it's called. So this is a one of the newer models they came out with last year. But I know a lot of people love the Ultra, which is like $100. I think this one's like $150. There's a couple different ones. Yeah, there's like some that come with like micro wrenches that you have to like use a little wrench on to take them apart. And I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely losing that wrench within about 2 minutes of me owning that thing. Like it comes with like a little tiny wrench and then you lose it and then you, pain, dude. It's definitely gonna go somewhere where you don't find it when you need it the most. Now, these are not difficult. I mean, if you're seriously considering it, there are quite a few guides out there on how to like take them apart and put them back together again. I thought it was a little bit scary the first time around, but it's not that bad. It's actually very manageable. Dude, what is this music? Okay, we're switching playlists. This is not my jam. There we go. This sounds more like my jam. Thank you, Anamar. Good advice. Good. Trying to frame this thing again. Trying to do a nice smooth line. Yeah, there's definitely also a lot of nice secondhand sets out there, I agree. Airbrush is kind of sweet, but definitely optional. Yeah, if you use a primer in the middle of the winter and it's like not the perfect temperature or whatever, like a spray can primer, I mean, like a Rettle can, easier done with an airbrush for sure. I only prime with an airbrush these days because it's nice, but definitely, you know, optional. Okay, just need to do a tiny little bit of highlighting with the Runelord Brass. And then we still need to finish up the crosses on the shoulder and on the knee pad. Easy enough. Just trying to do a little bit as well over here. No, I don't have a ventilated spray booth. I usually just open the window. I only do very small amounts of paint brushing, or airbrushing rather. It is definitely better though to have like a ventilated space for it. With like a proper ventilation that goes outdoors. Definitely want to, like, if you, I feel like if you do it like a lot, if you use the airbrush daily or whatever, you definitely want something like that. I'm not so sure if it's 100% necessity if you use it like every once in a while, but